Okay, rolling right along here. This time I'm not going to resize this because when I went to the other chart, it went back to where it is. So just kind of squint a little bit. I know I can read it enough. I'll tell you what it says. So we're here on the G dot. The dot scale is the E flat. Looking at that E flat note. Okay, so let's just grab that E flat right there. Now we can do one of these. Now notice that might not be a good idea, but what I was doing there is so there's our E flat there. Notice I cut that one out. That's so that I know we've done that one already, but I think we're gonna have to put it back because we've got some of the others. So there it is. The G dot is the third of that E flat scale, and you know how we obtained that E flat scale, right? Because we took the dot that we were on. Which was just say the G dot. Don't try to match pitches on this. And we went down 2 whole steps to the E flat scale, and that means that it starts out the root. It's going to be the root of the third of that E flat scale. E flat's the root, F is the second, and G dot is the third. So we can play, if we're starting here, we can play if this is the third, we can do the C shape, diatonic or pentatonic. Whoops. I had a G top on that, sorry. Or the diatonic on that. Notice these were both in the scale, so you didn't even notice. It just didn't sound right. Repeat of the same. And by the way, you can bend notes easier without the labels. But that's beyond the scope of this player. So you can do the D or the C right there. We're right here, the third. And by the way, notice here that notice all of the first scales in the set of dot scales. These are the set of dot scales, but there's actually 12 of them. Okay, there just happens to be 5 dots. 5 dots, and then there's repeats, the octave dots, but there's actually 7 dots, 12 dot scales, because you can take any note and apply the dot scale. So if this dot was on the C sharp thing, say this dot was on the 6th, okay, say this dot's on the 6th, which is the C sharp dot, you could take it down to the C, okay, and just take the dot scale of that, which would be, okay, so C would be the B flat, the D flat dot scale again. So you know that the C would be the third of that, and you can just start it again. So where would this C root would be? It should be there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 root. Okay, so you would see that. I'm not sure if I matched it up right because I don't have my notes and I shouldn't be, getting into it too much like that. But it works like that. So you'll notice that the first scale in the dot scales is the third, because that's the definition of a dot scale. Is it's 2 whole steps down from the dot or the note. Doesn't have to have a dot on it. Because remember, a dotted note is just a note. So you can put a dot there in your mind, you know, and just go 2 whole steps down and call that note the third of a scale. So the first scale they're all the third. The second scale is all the second. The third scale is all root. See how it's the same? So all of the shapes that you would play are the same. So the third is the DC shape, and the DC shape has the 3 in it there. You see? See this? So the third is the DC shape. You play either 2, 3, 4 is the D shape, or 3, 4, 5 is the C shape. So if you have your dot is the third, so you look at this and say this is the third of something, then you're going to play 3, 4, 5 or 2, 3, 4. And like I said, what I messed up before, and we'll just play it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 root. So that would be the key that you're in, because this is the third down here. Okay, whatever that note is. See, I usually read the notes right off. In my case, you know, I can't do that, but I can tell you the way my guitar is tuned. This would be an A. Fourth of A is D. So that's actually a D flat right there. That's what we were talking about, that D flat from the fourth dot. So that's the way that works, and I'm sure there's something we're trying to get to, something, you know, that we need to get to here. So this is a very important chart here, because it tells you here's your 5 dot qualities right here. So, you know, sometimes I just have to look at the left side of a chart. And remember, I told you that there's 12 of them. How many are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's it. That's all 12 right there. I could have filled in all of them. Okay. So the dot scale for the F note is what? It's going to be a half a step up from there is going to be the D flat. The dot scale for F sharp note is going to be a half step up from there, which is going to be the D. The dot scale for the G dot is the E flat. So this whole thing would have 12 dot scales with it, and that's 12 times 7, okay, which I don't know offhand. 12 times 6 is probably 72, and then one more is 84 different scales, you know, that you would be looking at. So the chart would get kind of gaudy. So I could fit these labels here, which is the 2 string shapes. I just did the 5 of them. Okay, so let's try another. Examples are the best way to work with the dots, because suddenly you go from oblivion to why were we doing this at all? It was so easy. From I don't know anything, it's just like opening your eyes, you know. So let's look at the A dot. Okay, the A dot, the dot scale for the A is the F, third of F. The A dot's a third of F. The A dot is the second of the key of G, etc., etc. It's the root of the key of A. Okay, so right here, the A dot. Now remember, we're talking about the A dot here. Okay, is the third of F, the second of G, the root of A. Okay, it's the 7th of B flat. So it's essentially an F scale there. So on the A dot, we could play anything. We could play in the key of F, G, the key of A, key of B flat, the key of C, the key of D, the key of E, and the key of F. That's a lot of keys to choose from. Well, let's look at which keys are the best.